Hi, welcome to Django series. In this video, I am going to discuss how to display database record to the user in a Django. So stepwise, I explain the complete process to the coding. So let us start the discussion. First step is to create a project. To create a project, go to the terminal and type a command django-admin start project, name of the project. So here I am going to use project 19. So once the project is created, then we'll go into the project folder, cd project 19, and then we'll create the application. Either we can create one application or multiple application. So to create a single application, we need to type a command in a terminal, python manage.py start app, name of the application. So here name of the application is coder. Once we execute this command, the coder application is created under the project along with some inbuilt files are there. Next task is to register that application under setting.py file. So go to the project folder, open the settings.py file, then scroll that file and go to the install app. Already some inbuilt apps are there. We need to add the customized application name. Now we'll add our application under the install app. It means that this application is now registered. The next step is to create the model for this coder. Model is nothing but a database. Now go to the application and open the models.py file. Under this file, we are going to add a certain database. So to create a model, we need to create a class. So class, name of the class, or we can say database name, that is coder model, and we have to pass the parameter models.model. Then one by one we'll add an attribute. So the very first attribute is coder ID. And we can write the data type for that attribute. So data type I'm going to use as an integer field for coder ID. Then second attribute I'll use the coder name. And data type for that attribute I'm going to use character field. So if I want, I can send the particular length. So here I'm going to use 111 as a max length for this model. Then I'll save this file. And now we need to tell the Django that we need to use this model. So now I'll type the command in a terminal, python manage.py make migration. This command will convert model into query. So you can find under the coder migration, and then under the migration we'll find a file 001 underscore initial.py, which will create this coder model. So if I explore that migration folder, you can find this file is get created, which will convert this model into query. After that, we need to execute the command python manage.py migrate, so that this complete tables are get migrated into the Django. I will first add record into the database. For that purpose, I'll type the command python manage.py and we'll go into the shell prompt. Under the shell prompt, we'll add record inside this database. So I'm going to import first from order.models import. I'm going to import all the databases, but here we have only one. So that has been imported. After that, so now I'll create an object c1 is equal to coder underscore model, and then I'll write the parameters. The first parameter is coder ID, and that coder ID is equal to 1. Second parameter is coder name. That value is a string. So I'm going to use JP, and then I'm going to save this. Similarly, I'll add one more value. So I'm going to create the second object, and here I'm going to pass second ID. Name is, let's say, and I'm going to save this value. So these two records has been inserted into the relation. Now these two records we need to display onto the template. So further task is to create the views for the same. Now we'll back to again to the project, and let's say we'll now add the business logic for this model. Now go to the application and open the views.py. So in this file, we write the business logic. So when you write the business logic, we need to import the model first. Now we are accessing the specific model data in this view. So I'm going to write from order is application dot models, and I'm going to import all the models. So one by one, I'll write a function. So first of all, I want to display that information. So I write details that I want to display, and one of the parameter that I'm going to use a request. So under this function, I'm going to access all that information which is under the model. So I'm right, let's say coder info is an object which will access the data from the model. So name of our model is coder underscore model dot. It consists of all the data in terms of objects. So we are going to write objects dot. I want all the information. I'm not looking for any specific record. So here I'm using the all function. After that, I'm going to return this complete information. So it will be rendered on a specific page. So return request, and we'll create one template. So we'll add the template name here. Afterward, we'll add this template name. So here we complete our business logic for this particular function. So detailed information of all the records is been stored into the coder info, and then that coder info we need to render into the HTML page. Now we'll create the URL pattern for this view. So go to the project folder. Under the project, we have url.py. So in this file, we need to add the application. So first of all, I'll add the include function, and then we'll update the URL patterns. So in the URL pattern, you need to add path, and let's say I'm using the coder application, which will include the URLs from coder application. So coder dot URLs. In this way, we registered the application URL into the project. Now go to the application folder, add the file urls.py, and copy the content of main project URL into the application URL. We'll remove some of the unwanted code. So this is the commented code that I'll remove. So I don't want to include any application here. So I'll remove that include function. As good as this path is also not required now. Now here I'll add some functions. So what particular functions here I'm going to use? So now we'll write from coder import views. So it will import all the views of coder in this URL pattern. So I'll add that pattern path, and here let's say coder details that I want to display, and let's say views dot name of the function. So name of the function is details. This way we'll write this application URL. Now application URL is complete, project URL is complete, along with business logic is completed. Now we need to create the template layer. So under the project, we are going to create the new folder templates. Under the template, we can create the new folder, that is application name coder. And under the coder application, we are going to create the HTML file. So here I'll write the index.html. So under the HTML page, we'll write a code. But before that, we'll need to register this template under the project. So go to the settings.py, go to the template, and here we need to add os.path.join. After the base directory, we need to set the template. So here I'm going to add the name of folder templates. Might be there is an error for OS, so we'll import that package into this file. So import OS, so that error is get resolved. Now template is registered under the settings.py. Now we'll write the code into the HTML file. So under the index.html, I'll write the HTML tags. So HTML, under that, I'm going to write head of the page. I'll write the head index. After that, I'm going to write body tag. and inside the body, I want to retrieve the record. So there are multiple records are there, and that records are get iterated. For example, we have this record, let's say coder ID is 1, and coder name is JP, coder ID is 2, and coder name is R. So this information we want to render onto this HTML page. So we have to add some detailed code over here. So first of all, we need to check if the record is exist. So this way, percentage sign here, and if inside that, if let's say a record, if record is exist inside it, we can iterate all the records. So one by one, all the records are get iterated. So we use a for loop. For one by one, we'll iterate the record. So for R in the whatever the record, for R in record, then we are going to display that record. So R dot name of the attribute coder ID. Similarly, we are going to add R dot coder name. So these both record we are going to display one after another. And then we'll end this loop, that is inner loop, for loop, that is end for. Similarly, we have to end that if as well. We are going to end the if condition. If the record is not exist, then we'll have to use the else part. If there is no record is exist into my relation, then it should display a certain message, and that message is, let's say I'm going to write h2 tag, and it will display no record in the relation. So likewise, this HTML file is completed. After that, we need to modify now business logic file. So go to the views.py. As we mentioned the template name, so here we need to mention the specific name of the template. So under the coder application, we have index.html, and here we'll use a dictionary. That dictionary will hold all the objects. So as I said that it consists of all the records. So record is a variable that I use instead of coder info. So I create a dictionary of record which will carry the all record of coder and which will be displaying this HTML page. So now everything is done. So this information we can display to the user. So now we'll execute the project using the command python manage.py run server. Copy this URL and paste into the browser. Under that we have coder application. Under the coder application we have function coder details. So we'll get an error. So that error is related to else did not forgot to register a load tag. So we make a certain mistake here. Just we need to log into the HTML page. So we just end this if and else is open. So if is followed by else, and we have to displace this end if. So we'll have to put it over here. So now end if is placed at the proper location, if else followed by end if. So again we'll back to the browser. We'll just refresh this page. You can find this information has been printed. So we'll organize this information properly. So we'll go back to the coding again. And we'll be change this content like this. So after every record, I want break. So let the BR text so that the records are organized one after another. So again, I'll go back to the browser and refresh this page. So you can find this 1 and 2 is get printed along with this EPNR. So hope you understand that how the record is been displayed from the relation into the template. Thanks for watching this video.